Hey all, am I audible? Can someone confirm me?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yes, Sagar. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, so thanks everyone for waiting for the session to get started. So as you all know, this is a Python network automation session that we are going to conduct, and also we would be covering on what syllabus that we are gonna have in this module, and we will discuss bit on what is automation, why do you need automation. uh, okay, so these are some topics that we have planned, some topics on the career path, job switch, all regards to automation. Okay, so you know that automation these days are used highly on uh, multi-domain, multi-track, enterprise, security, collab, whichever domain you opt for, there is a automation that's been introduced. If you think from the Cisco syllabus, everywhere the automation has been added these days. So this demo session is to discuss more on automation and the devnet topics, etc. So that you guys are more comfortable before enrolling to the actual batch. Okay. So myself is Sagar Dhawan, and I hold CCNP devnet certification. I have trained more than like I think this is our 15th batch of this year, and previously as well for last 2 3 years we've been taking up the automation batches globally. We also are into corporate training and one-to-one mentoring, projects, script writing. Okay, so that's a little bit on myself and network journey. So regarding the audience who are attending this demo, I would like to give 5 to 10 minutes for you guys to brief me about yourself. And while you brief, let me know your number of experience in networking. Plus, have you ever worked on Python, or have you ever done any automation so far? So this will help me to custom the training materials. Okay. So who's going first?
Yeah, hi. This is Anand. Thanks, Sagar. Actually, I'm a network engineer, wireless network engineer. I'm having 6+ years of experience in Cisco Wireless, and currently I'm working on DNAC and implementation project. I Currently we are on to automation. Automation we are yet to start. We are not yet started. Uh, and I was planning for DevNet certification also by the
Okay.
end of December.
Okay, Anand, thanks.
Hey Sagar, this is Rohit this side. Hi.
Yeah, hi Rohit. Go
Uh,
ahead.
so so I've been I am from the security background. So I'm working as a network security engineer, and my current experience is around 8 years. I do not have any background on the automation languages, Python or Ansible and things. So I am a beginner in that domain.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Rohit.
Hi, Saga. This is Shiv Krishna.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, how the 9 years experience of the network administrator, or how the some knowledge in the Python as a programming background. The MCA is my graduation, post graduation, but I have interest to learning in the automation and the new technologies.
Okay. So have you ever done any Python automation or anything?
No, just the Python scripting is basic knowledge is there, just in keywords and functioning, the
Okay.
type only.
All right. Okay.
Hey, Saga, this is Dushyant.
Yeah, hi Dushyant.
Hey, how are you? So, I've been into IT for almost 13 years, 10 years approximately with networks. Purely, I'm working on load balancers for past 7 years plus 7, 8 years. Load balancers, different flavors. As far as the Python is concerned, I have learned it on my own. Did some basic labs at home, and of lately I was studying Ansible. But problem is, I keep on dropping it in between.
Okay. Okay. So thanks, Dushyant. All right, guys. So we have a lot of time for with us where we would discuss more on this. So what I did meanwhile is I quickly went to the CCI blueprint. Okay, just wanted to show you the latest curriculum that's been introduced. So this is a PDF for CCI Enterprise. You can see the chapter number 5 is purely automation topic these days. Okay, these are all CCI from CCI point of view. So CCNP has its own coverage, and CCNA also got its coverage. And for CCI data center version 3, which is the latest syllabus, so there as well you can see a dedicated section only for the automation topic. So it's a heavy or high time where you can upgrade yourself to the automation topic, because this topic is not just from your production point of view, from certification point of view as well. These topics are nowadays introduced. Okay. And if you check for the DevNet track, Cisco Devnet 200901. So we'll discuss about what is DevNet, because few people are not aware of the DevNet certification at all. Okay, so this is a Cisco DevNet. So let me tell you what it is about. So how many of you have heard about the DevNet certification?
Yes, I'm aware of it. I'm actually preparing for that.
Okay. So you guys might have heard about all these legacy terms, right? Routing, switching, security, collab, data center,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah. So now parallelly, you also have the certification called as DevNet, introduced by Cisco. So here there are three different levels. So you have a associate level, which is the CCNA, and then you have the professional, and then you have these days the CCI DevNet as well. So three different tracks. Okay, so guys, before we get started with something, I usually try to check from the audience point of view what is their understanding about network automation. What are we supposed to automate? What is the expected behavior of network automation? What are the challenges of your traditional network? Okay, or what are you trying to automate? So yes, guys. So what is the challenge of a traditional network, and why do you think you need to automate, and what do you want to automate here?
To configure a bulk number of configuration devices, that will be most challenges. One of the most challenges.
Okay, so multi-device configuration.
Yeah, and
So Anand, you have a background noise. Can you just mute that? Yeah. So what are the other challenges with the traditional networking, and you think about automating it?
single device multiple configuration. For example, I have to wrote a script for I have to write a firewall rule for 10,000 rule, for example. Then it's tough job do it in manual.
Okay. So that is part of the configuration only, right? Multi-device configuration.
Sagar, I think in terms of network operation center, suppose if you want to do a pre-checks before, that may take around 10 to 15 minutes. So that we can do by using automation, so that engineer can just run that script and he can get the output, so that he can analyze very quickly and he can take the further action.
Okay, yeah. So as you told about pre-check, I just recalled we have discussed one script in our last batch. So that script is to do the pre-check and then get you the diff check report in HTML format. Okay. I hope, since you guys are from networking background, I hope what is the significance of pre, post, and diff check?
Yes, yes.
Okay. What else we normally try to automate?
You can push configuration to devices using a template.
Okay. So
preventing human error.
Okay. So let's say I prepare a template with a provided given Excel sheet. So this Excel sheet, I can straight away just write some bunch of code and push it to multiple devices. Okay. So this is all automated process. Now, why this is easier and and free from human error? Because we don't copy paste the config. It's all taken from the Excel, read by the Python script, and it will be pushed device to device. Okay, what else we automate?
What about troubleshooting?
Okay, troubleshooting. Give me one scenario.
Suppose BGP is not working.
Okay.
And I want to see if the links are flapping or what the root cause is.
Okay. So yes, so troubleshooting your day-to-day service level companies, BGP protocols down. Okay, ping not working, trace route. So you can also initiate all these things using a Python script. So let's say I'll just give you one case study. So let's say a NOC or a L1 team whose primary job is to monitor the tickets, and they receive a ticket saying that let's say the link 1 Gbps is down at the minute. So what does the NOC or L1 guys do? They have to find out the right router, log into that, get the credential, log into that, check the output for BGP neighbor. They need to find out which BGP peer or ISP got terminated or got flapped. They raise the ticket. So there are certain steps that they usually do. And to find out the device, sometimes itself take a lot of time. Credential takes another additional time, right? So all those things you can automate using a Python script. So whenever there is any sort of such event happening, you can have a script in your production which can do all the basic checks and get you the information that this got flagged. And also you can put down the certain output for certain commands and email to your next level or email to your customer saying that so and so is being observed. Now you can take it further. Okay. So the basic troubleshooting that can also be done via the automation point of view, from the Python script point of view. Okay, what else are we missing? Are we missing any challenges now?
I think we can automate the network change management. Like suppose if you want to do any during the migration window, suppose if you want to push a large amount of configuration, that I can do via automation, I guess.
Yeah, that is already put here in the multi-device configuration. So we can just keep all that here. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but I can add
one
yeah.
more example from my side.
Yeah.
In
Go
terms
ahead.
of pairing the configurations for repeated configurations, for example, with some variables.
Okay, so that also comes under the template part. So template is where
API integration.
Yeah, I'll come to API also. So template is where you can all do all that stuffs like changing stuff, some items, keeping some items over there. So you can prepare an Excel sheet with a template and you can push it across.
Okay.
Okay. Now someone told me API. What does it mean?
It's an application.
Application protocol interface.
Okay, and what does it help us? How does it help us in automating?
Like we can fetch or we can push certain data when there is an user interface in between the source and destination. Basically, it actually works when there is a user interface in between.
Okay. So you guys have heard about SDN solution?
Yes.
Okay. Next gen firewalls?
Yeah.
Okay. So whatever graphical dashboard, the technology that has a graphical dashboard, they all have a HTTP interface. Okay.
Yes.
So what we normally do with API is, let's assume that I have one device with me, which is Palo Alto. Okay. The management is accessible via HTTP port. So I have a machine, I say this is so and so, and using the dashboard, I might configure policy, I might add a NAT rule, I might add the license, I might do the troubleshoot, everything over on the dashboard. That is how these SDN and next-gen firewalls are being used. We have a graphical interface and we configure. But the problem is when you do a bulk configuration, you have lots of tabs, menus in the dashboard. So it's not always very easy to configure a bulk configuration. One configuration is still fine, but if you are repetitively adding multiple firewall rules or adding multiple VIPs in a FI LTM, you have to follow those tabs and menus of the dashboard, right? So what we do is we convert every task of the dashboard into certain API calls. So let's say if I had to make a policy, so for that I will have a respective API call. I want to do some NAT configuration, so I will have my API call. But who will do that? The developers will do that. Which developer? The developer who have created the PAN OS, the operating system. So similar way, the APIs are created by developers from respective vendors. Might be the SDN like ACI, SD-WAN, SD Access. These are handled by different business units. They will have their own developers. Similar way, next generation firewall, FortiGate, Checkpoint, Palo Alto, they have their own developers. So whoever is working on their software, they will work on the API creation. And APIs are not device perspective, it's feature perspective. So if I have a Palo Alto, don't be in a misunderstanding that Palo Alto will only have one API. Palo Alto will have thousands of API. Might be one API to deal with configuration, one API to fetch something, another API to do the troubleshooting. As I told you, as per features it is. So if a dashboard has thousands of features, so you will expect thousands of API. And you program it using the software now. Without even logging to the dashboard, you just write a Python script or you have different API testing tools from where you can initiate the calls. Okay, so this is also covered in the curriculum. Do not worry. We will start from scratch when the API topic gets started. Okay, since someone's told about API, so I just give a brief intro here. Okay, I hope that's clear.
Yes.
Okay. What else? Are we missing anything? Are we missing any very basic thing now?
Sagar, code upgrade can be automated.
Yes, code upgrade, iOS code upgrade. So here you,
Maybe,
yeah,
yeah, I was just saying maybe inventory management or and things like those.
yes, you can also do the inventory management. Okay. Anything else? How many of you have heard about compliance report?
Yes, yes.
So what is a challenge in the compliance sort of task? By the way, what is compliance report?
Any of the device or any of the issues which are keep occurring.
No, you suppose if you consider as Cisco IS, that will have the compliance. That means whatever the device are compliance, whether they are what they call, whether they are compromising the policies of the Cisco compliance reports, then it comes under compliance. If not, it will come under non-compliance or unknown. So based on that, compliance report we can fetch from that.
Okay. Yeah, you're very close to that. Okay, but I'll give you a wide scenario. Let's say company A handles all the network of company B. Okay, so I can say company B is a client and company A is a service providing company. Now, company B will have its own network level 4 architecture or whoever. They will set some standards. They will say that for a CCTV ACL, we have 20 permit lines and 10 deny lines. For alarm ACL, we have 15 permit lines and 5 deny line. Okay, some standard they will set. I'm just talking about some standard a company is gonna set, not only for ACL. Similar way, iOS might be the client has said for all our Catalyst 2800 series, so and so is the standard as of now, or all the Catalyst 9000 series. Let's say some standard is being set. Now you as a service level company, you have to check whether they are following whether those devices are following that standard or not. So how do you check? That is what the compliance report is about. So you have to tell the customer, the client, that your device out of 100, only 2 devices are within the expected standard and remaining 98 devices are not standard as of now. Now you tell me, what do we need to do if tomorrow there is a network breach or any sort of loopholes? So we are not held to be responsible because we are giving you your compliance report. Now the customer or the client will decide whether should I go with the upgrade process or should I deny it. Okay, so compliance is one set of standard the customer will define to the service level, and service level will have its own engineer who previously it used to be manual scenario, but nowadays after automation concept we can just do with the automation. We can pull the report. So first thing that you need is to pull the report. Okay, now preparing this report, you need to pick one of your favorite automation tool. You can go with Python or API or whatever you are familiar. You can go with that, prepare the report, send it to customer. Customer will realize and will decide whether to go with the expected upgrade or standard. So that is how the process goes. Okay, so this is also very much used in enterprise companies. Okay, so where you will work on concepts like rejects. You need to work on Excel writing, because whatever you capture, you need to say that R1 has CCTV ACL where there are only 10 permit lines and what are they, and these are two deny lines, right? So you need to prepare those in a Excel. So all this happens in a automated process without any engineer's manual login intervention. All right. So I hope that compliance part is also clear. What is the scope there? Anything else that we are missing out now? Have you got? Yeah, go ahead.
Devices with ITS with ticketing tools that is also done through automation.
And auditing also can be done, right?
Yeah, this is auditing only. This you can also consider as a auditing only, compliance or auditing. Compliance or audit report. Have you guys ever done the network utilization reports?
Yes.
Right. So you have to know how many free IPs you have in that network. Right. So whenever a app team or any DB team is asking you for a free IP, you should already be aware of how many IPs you have free. So this is also some sort of activities that the network engineer does. All right. What about taking a backup? A simple process which no one told.
Yeah.
Right. So I remember 10 years back, we used to do it manually. The small scale companies which cannot afford investing on softwares, they were asking the engineers to do it manually. We had a software which is also used these days, Secure CRT. It has an option that is when I run a command like show run, it automatically captures in a text file something. So, but we have to log in manually to each and every box. Later down the line, company thought the engineers are wasting their time, so they invested some amount on softwares like HPNA or any solar wind softwares. Okay, but they are costly. Company has to pay a lot of money for doing a basic backup job, etc. But now the transition is that they want the engineers to build some sort of tools using automation kit where they can run a backup on a daily basis or a weekly basis and completely automated process without any engineer's intervention. Okay. So this looks simple, taking backup, but those who have done a manual process, you might know how much time it's gonna take. So now this all process can be all automated. Okay, so these are something apart from that, human errors was one more reason in the traditional networking. People copy a wrong config to another box or do a mismatch and create a outage. So that's also a reason why traditional network uh, is looking for automated process. Okay, so these are all few traditional network challenges, and we discussed how would we automate or how do we proceed with the automation to bypass such outages. Okay, so now I know you guys might or may not have worked on any deployment so far. Give me 1 second. Okay, so guys, just want to understand if you guys are aware of what is this.
So basically, the simplest example, Sagar, for agent and agentless would be Ansible.
Ansible for agent or agentless?
It's a agentless.
Okay.
So basically, you need not to have Ansible installed because Cisco iOS devices doesn't support Python. So you need not to have the Ansible installed on the ultimate host machines. Rather, you can just have it on the on your local machine from where the host will be targeted without having the Ansible installed on them.
Okay. So what is Python then considered?
Python, in that case, Python would be the I really don't know how to say it properly in the proper term, but what I recall, Python would be the platform for this.
No, Python automation would be considered as agent or agentless?
That would be agent.
No, Python also is part of agentless.
Okay.
Okay. So any examples for agent based?
Netconf, if we consider netconf.
Netconf is a protocol. Okay. So netconf needs
Paramiko?
No. Again, Paramiko, Ansible, Paramiko, Netmiko, Nipam, they are the libraries.
Libraries
but in a Python stuff.
TCL.
Which one?
TCL, which was very old.
TCL scripting is saying.
TCL scripting or Perl scripting.
They are also considered as agentless only. See, I'll tell you a short example. What is agent?
Postman, if you consider Postman.
Postman is not a language or something. It is just an application. Okay. See, for agent in the sense, let's say if I have a Cisco router or switch, if I install any add-ons or any extensions inside those boxes, and then I try to automate because that agent is there, and if I am able to talk to that agent and then I can do a backup config or device config, then such examples are called agent based.
So NSO would be the best agent, right? I can say.
Which one?
NSO, Network Orchestration Tool.
NSO is framework here.
So,
okay, it's not a programming language.
Okay.
For agent, there are examples like Puppet, Chef. So these are some automation languages or programs that need add-on extensions to be added on the customer side devices. Then only you can automate it. Okay, but here in Ansible and Python, we don't add any add-ons on the boxes. We don't do anything. Then how do you think just by installing Ansible on your laptop, you can talk to those boxes? How does the communication happens between your machine with customers, routers, switches, or firewall, or whatever networking devices? How do they communicate?
SSH?
Yes, SSH is what they need it. Okay. So apart from SSH, they don't need any other add-on to operate. So they are like a standalone tools now. So that is why we call it as agentless. When they don't need any dependency or add-ons or extensions to be installed on the end devices. And that is why they are more popular too. Because the client don't want unknown softwares to be installed on their device, right? Because they are at the end, they are scared that if some loopholes or some backdoor activity happens by installing any unknown extensions on their devices, correct? So people or client, they don't prefer going with this. The most favorite ones are Ansible, Python. These are the most favorite programming languages in terms of network automation. So apart from SSH, what other protocols that we use? Just from networking side, what other protocol are supported?
Use Telnet.
Okay. Telnet is also supported, but as you know, they carry the plain text. We don't use it.
TFTP, FTP.
Okay, so all your SCP protocols.
With SNMP.
Yes, SNMP,
ICMP,
ICMP, STTP. Okay, so the SSH is TCP. This is TCP, whereas this is UDP, right? SCP can be UDP or TCP, depending upon what flavors. So the most highly used are SSH for your configurations. You use SNMP for polling or discovery point of view. And STTP can also be used as for configuration. Okay. So those guys who were telling netconf and all that stuff. So if you go from API perspective, netconf is here, which use SSH only. And if you want to use RESTconf, then you have to make use of STTP. Okay. SNMP is UDP, but most of the libraries consist of SNMP by themselves. Okay. Or let's say, for example, when we start with Python module, when you start with libraries like NetMiko, they also support SNMP and SSH. So we use SSH for configuration and SNMP for polling point of view, not for configuration or fetch or something. Okay, so these are some very familiar protocols that you been using it for. Okay, so Telnet we don't use because of its plain text characteristics. But yes, if you want, then NetMiko also supports Telnet. So if you have any old server or old Windows machine, which is only gonna talk over on Telnet, then you can also automate via Telnet. Okay. Guys, now regarding deployment, where is the right path to put your automation tools? So let's say this is customer enterprise. And we all most of the time works over on the remote scenario. Okay. Might be this is in New York and you are working from Singapore. Okay. Very less scenarios where engineers is deployed in the data center, in a local data center. Most of the time it's remote. So you are always connected over VPN to the customer enterprise, and over on that VPN you make use of your SSH protocol, right? So this is you, and this is where the routers and switches are kept. So if this is the scenario, you can deploy all your automation tools like Python, PyCharm, Ansible, Postman, all these things you can put inside your machine itself. And then you can write all your script on your machine, and over via SSH protocol over on the VPN connectivity, you can just automate these network devices. Okay, so the first method is very straightforward method. Now in the second method, what happens is there is no VPN. Instead, you first connects to the customer's jump server. Okay, the concept of jump server comes here. Jump server or terminal server. And from that machine, you will take access to their routers, switches, firewalls, servers, etc. Okay, so this is the scenario. So you will have to do a MSTC to those jump server, and from that jump server you take the connection. So it's like two connection, one connection to the jump server and the second connection is from the MSTC to the respective end devices. Now in this situation, they might allow you to install all your automation kits on their jump server. So if that is the case, then you can install everything here. Python, Ansible, PyCharm, whatever you want, you can install it here. You can prepare the script here and you can automate it. But what if they don't allow you to install it? They have given you a read only jump host server, right? So if this is the case, then you are only left out with this option. You have to install all your tools on your local machine. The local machine over on a scripting basis will take a connection to the jump server, and from the jump server, it will take the remote end connections. So two connections has to be automated. So which deployment do you guys fall into?
Number 3.
Number 3. Your jump server is read only, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So in this case, the only option is you install it on your machine and using the redispatch concept, you do the two steps you do a two automated steps. So first is this step and then is your respective far end connections. What about others who fall under one or two? Anyone fall under one or two?
Second.
Second one. So you have a read write on the jump server.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
I actually don't fall any one of these in any one of these. Actually, our jump server is also read only, but I can have a VM configured. I mean, maybe a Linux VM configured in the data center subnet and use that for automation.
How do you do SSH normally without any VPN client? You have access to SSH?
No, for that, yeah. So that is SSL VPN. That is there. But then I thought you're asking about. Okay, so you're asking the steps to reach to the server.
Your machine, how do you access? I mean to say, how do you access the devices?
Correct. That is via the second one. Yeah, correct. Sorry.
So you said SSL VPN, which is a remote VPN, might be your
Correct.
any connect or.
So that is based. No, that is based on F5. F
Okay,
actually,
F5.
and then then we have VDI access, and we try to access from there.
Okay. Okay. So you will fall under second in that case.
Yeah.
In my case, we actually log in. That means we have a Zscaler VPN. So we connect to that VPN, and then we have to log in. We have to connect to jump host. That jump host is Windows Jump Server. So from there we have to we have a putty enabled there. From there we use access that. Or
So
we
you have access to install PyCharm there?
No.
Okay,
We
then
don't.
you will fall under the step 3, method 3.
Yes.
So how, Sagar, how is the third one handled? Like, is it possible to automate from your laptop all the way to the end devices with this multi-hop connections?
Yes. So not all the libraries can handle. There are only few libraries which can handle this third method. It's called a redispatch concept.
Redispatch. Is that like a library name?
No, it's like a feature name. Okay, so using this concept or this feature, we can install all the stuffs on the local machine, and the local machine will first connect to the jump host via VPN or no VPN. That's fine, but connect to the jump host, and without any further installation on that, you can take the access to the rest of the thing. You can configure, you can do almost the same thing what you did with method 1 and method 2.
Is there somebody was mentioning that they configure a VM in the data center which will have all the scripts and automation? Is it possible that you have a fourth method where you have a jump host that's read only, that's fine, but beyond that, among the devices that you want to configure, one of the device could be simply a VM where you keep all your scripts and everything, and then those that VM is directly allowed to talk to the end devices. Is that possible? So something.
Yeah, that will be part method 2 itself. So you are connected to VDI. So within VDI, let's say you take access to another VM or something via MSTC. So you are initiating that from this itself.
Got it. Makes sense. Thanks.
Okay. All right. So I hope this is clear. Now let's talk about the tools that you need while you automate. Well, I would like to keep them in 3 components or 3 different divisions. So let's say Python, Ansible, and API. Those are the majorly used automation tool. Okay, so what tools do we require if I opt Python as my automation tool? What all things do I need it?
Paramiko, Netmiko.
Okay, I will put them under second step. But for you, what you need on the first?
Python interpreters
first installed on the.
First, you need the Python
first
language.
installed, yeah.
Okay, without that, nothing will work. Second, you need to select the library that you need. Now that Paramiko and all that stuff comes here, we'll discuss on this as well. How do you select? And then you need a IDE, integrated development.
Python or something.
Example Python.
Guys, there is a background noise. If you're not speaking, you can be on mute. Yeah. So what is IDE, guys?
Python IDE like PyCharm.
PyCharm we use IDE.
Why we use it?
To write the scripts actually. So things like the integrated development environment like Atom or something where we write our scripts and then call those scripts in a Python command on a command prompt or something.
Yeah. So you write, you test, you compile, debug, unit test. You can do all these things. So there are different IDs available. Simple IDEs like Notepad++ can also be an IDE or Sublime, but don't use it because they don't have auto correction features. Neither they have a auto pop-up features. But go with some professional tools like PyCharm, Microsoft Visual Studio, or Atom, Eclipse. Okay, you can go with any one. They're all available in a community version too, so you don't need to spend money on purchasing them. What else we need then? We have a Python language library, we decided ID we need, and then finally we need those remote network devices to test it, right? So this you can again either go with the hardware if you have it, or if you want to go with the virtualized solution, then you can go with the GNS or tools like EVNG. Okay, don't go with packet tracer because packet tracer don't have any support for automating as of now. Okay, or you can just use a EXI or a VM and load the image directly on the VM without an emulator. So these are emulators which is required for your Cisco and other things. But if you already have a OVA file like F5 or Palo, you can directly put it on the VM without an emulator. So these are some end device concept. So if you have hardware, you go with hardware itself. Most of you guys may not have hardware, so you need to practice. So the left out options are either go with the emulator or the VM deployment. Okay, so this is when you decide with Python. Now, while you decide to go with Ansible, what you need now? What all things do you need now?
We need playbooks, YAML.
Ansible install first. Yeah.
Yes, first you need Ansible installation. Okay. Without Ansible installation, the next steps are not possible. So once you have Ansible installation, you need to get into that folder and then you will start with the rest of the things. So next, what you need? Do you need library here?
In Ansible, we need configuration files.
Okay, so that is all how Ansible is, but like we need a config file, we need a playbook.
We need host file.
Yeah, we need
inventory.
A host file. Yeah, this is the inventory itself.
Yeah.
But from tool point of view or any dependency prerequisite point of view, does it have a concept of any library in Ansible?
No.
Okay, so let's say if I so here library, we have a multiple libraries. So some has some benefit, some do a SSH, some does a HTTP. So how do we have how do we tackle that in Ansible? If I want to automate PAN OS or I want to handle F1.
I think we have commands, right? Ad hoc commands and all those things.
So before knowing the command, you need to select certain things here. We call it as collections. Okay, so there is something called as Galaxy these days, Ansible Galaxy. So Ansible Galaxy consists of roles and collection. So if I want to automate Palo Alto, I will first go and install the respective Palo Alto Galaxy version. And within that Galaxy version, I will have all that commands that you were referring to. Okay. So if in case I want to automate, let's say Cisco iOS, then I will install the respective package. So this comes only when you decided to go with Galaxy. Otherwise, if you just still want to use the traditional Ansible, which is like 2.8, 2.9, these are traditional Ansible. You don't need packages. Okay, you don't need packages, but these are now old methods. The new method is to use a Ansible Galaxy versions or collections. So the vendor itself are preparing the collections. A Palo network will prepare a Ansible collections and host it on the Ansible websites where you can download all the roles and collections and you can automate their devices. Okay, so same way the multi vendors or different vendors, they automate or they prepare their own Ansible Galaxy, which is free to use. You can download and use it. Okay, regarding ID, what ID do you think we can go? Can I use PyCharm?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so here I would not recommend to go with PyCharm. PyCharm is good if you're using the traditional things like 2.8, 2.8, 2.9. But when it comes to Galaxy, then PyCharm don't support it. Okay, so the best ID for you is to have a Linux operating system. You can have Linux, you can have Red Hat if you have a license. Otherwise, you can also go with the CentOS, which is a open sourced. So this is a open sourced. This is a open source. The good thing about going with the Linux machine is you can install these packages using the Linux package manager like yum or apt.
Get.
Yeah.
apt get, yeah.
Okay. So these are some package manage installer. Using this, you can install all the packages. And some student ask whether they need to know the basic Linux command. Yes, you need to know a basics here, not at least on a expert level, but basic Linux is something which you need when you're dealing lot of things on Ansible. Okay. And what if, have you guys heard about Ansible Tower or AWX? Okay, not S. I'm not talking about the Amazon AWX. I'm talking about AWX or Tower. Have you heard about this?
No.
Is it Control Tower you're referring to?
Yeah, you can call it as Ansible Tower or okay. So Ansible offers you a ready-made front-end dashboard. Okay, so these Tower AWX are front-end tools. Do Python has a front-end by default? So where does Python gets counted? Whether it's a front-end or it's a back-end?
Backend.
Yes, so Python gets counted here. Python do not have any inbuilt dashboard of its own. We can build a front end. If I know HTML, I know React, I know Flask, Django programming, I can build a front end. But by default, there is no such package or library using which I can just bring the dashboard. I can have that, different tabs, menus, etc. We need to know the front end programs now, HTML, Django, Flask. These are the front end tools. So if you know that, you can build a front end, and in the back end, you can keep your script. But here in the Ansible, that step has been cut down. The Ansible already offers you the front end. You just need to download the package and put it up inside one of this, whichever you preferred going with, Linux or Red Hat or CentOS. So if you do that necessary installation, you will have your front end ready. And you have a front end ready, the things also get simplified now. You will go select the playbook, select the device, select the, you can schedule the job. A lot of things that you can do it on the front end. So good till here?
Is Ansible...
So just one thing, Sagar. So both
Yeah.
of them can be installed on a same Linux machine? I mean the Ansible Tower and the Ansible packages?
Yes, it will go hand by hand in the same thing.
And so by installing Ansible Tower, will we have something like a GUI where we can operate on, or
Yes, we
how?
will have the complete graphical interface. So graphical interface like login,
Okay.
username, password. Then you will have certain tabs where you can select the playbook, you can select the device, you can set the inventory, you can set the credentials. And a good thing about the tower is you can also store all your playbook on the GitHub account, and from there you can source it up, the playbooks. So, getting that point?
Sir, are we going to learn Ansible Tower in this course?
Yeah, I will show you the deployment and the GitHub sync here. Okay.
And is this also open source, Sagar? I'm not aware, so asking.
Ansible Tower is licensed product, but AWX is open source. So here you get a 30 days of free license for Ansible Tower, whereas AWX is open source.
Okay. And sorry, just one more question. So AWX just supports Ansible, or we can use that with Python too as front end?
No, these are your Ansible tools, Ansible front end. So you need to have a playbook here to operate, not your Python script. Okay, so moving forward, API. Now let's say I completely want to automate using API method. Now what all things I need? What ID can I go with for API? Any installation, initial installation?
Postman, or we can. I usually do with Postman.
Okay, so Postman and PyCharm both supports API. Postman you can talk or think from testing tool, and if you want to convert that particular API into a proper Python script, then you can use a PyCharm as well. Okay, but Postman itself can run multiple parallel APIs, 10 APIs, 15 APIs. There is certain uh, features inside Postman using which we can run multiple. But sometimes what happen, uh, apart from configuration, might be you are sourcing or you're reading from Excel, you're taking a backup on Excel. That particular jobs you might need more flexibility. So PyCharm is where you would convert the whole script into, and you will add other libraries here which can read and write to Excel or from Excel. So you need more flexibility, then you go with PyCharm. But if your job is only to configuration, or you fetch the things and take the report, then Postman is the simplest option here. Okay, do we need to install any API things here, like API package or API program? Just trying to understand what you understood so far.
Yeah, we need, right? Type of APIs like REST API, what we should push on.
Okay, see, now that is a misunderstanding. You don't need to install or deploy anything when it comes to API, because I told you in the previous slide, the APIs are already developed and they are sitting in the software.
So that is just a URL we need to call there.
Yes. So you need to only know the API to handle that particular job for you.
Yeah.
It's already there. It's already there, but it's invisible to you. So if you go to the dashboard of F5 or Palo, put a slash and put Pan OS API or Pan OS REST API, you will get all the API that vendor supports. So it's already been created, developed, and it's in that particular operating system. You just need to use it. Okay, so there is no any additional API to be downloaded, deployed, any concept of package, nothing here. Okay, so no need of any API package or something. They are already present on that particular software. But yes, the software is outdated, then it may not be having. But if your software is a latest one, then it. So how do we check that? So let's say if this is your vendor, HTTP 1.1.1, which is your Palo Alto vendor. So behind every vendor, there is some extensions like REST API doc or API doc. Again, you get to know this shortcut on the respective vendor website itself. And if that resolves to that particular extension and you get to see the different APIs that means that version supports API. Okay. So it will also reveal you whether you need to add REST API to that or you need to add a netconf to that. So whatever you want to add it or whatever you want to do it, everything will be properly put up in the documentation page. So that is where you will get the reference and you will start using Postman or PyCharm to automate. Okay. So IDE, I can say it's Postman or PyCharm, and no package as of then for API. And to check if that is supported or not, you have the documentation. Okay, so this is something which you need to take care of it in the API. And the next thing that you need to take care of API is those HTTP operations. So anyone is aware of any HTTP operation?
Yeah, it's like ASM.
Get post.
HTTP methods. Yeah.
Yeah. So in API, this is something which you need to be aware of. You need to know what is your requirement. You're fetching it, configuring, deleting, or a block is present, but you're just making some changes, modification. So depending upon one of this operation, you use it. Okay. So this is all we will take it when the DevNet syllabus is started for the batch. Okay. So let me just write the flow now. So we will start first with Python module. And I would start first with NetMiko library. So we will discuss all the case studies here. Then we go towards the other modules like Paramiko, NEPAM, PyNTC, and Nornio. Okay. And then we go towards Ansible. So Ansible, I will cover all that we talked previously, like Galaxy, traditional Ansible, Vault, Ansible Tower, deployment, all that stuff's here in Ansible. And then we discuss about API. So in the API, I will talk about all that HTTP and configuration. How do you use API for configuration fetch? And finally, we will have the DevNet curriculum. Okay, DevNet 200 and 201. So these are the 4 modules that we will cover. It's a 1.5 month duration. It's Monday to Thursday. Sorry, it's daily 1 hour from 10 p.m. India to 11:30, depending upon the discussion that we have it. Okay, so I'll just keep it 1 hour. The remaining time is just for the discussion and any assignment. And I always give some assignment or project, okay, which you guys will do it yourself after the class has been conducted.
I hope the Python model will be like from the scratch, right? I don't have any experience on writing codes or anything. So
Yeah, so tomorrow we will start the theory for this first. Okay. So before getting started with the package, we will have the theory completed. So tomorrow we will plan to have a theory. So next 2-3 days would be for Python theory. And regarding the syllabus, if you guys have not checked, so this is where the entire curriculum is. I'll just put in the chat window as well. So here there are 20 modules altogether. So if you just scroll a bit, so starting with module 1, it goes till module 20 where there are projects. So these projects are given after every few topics are completed. Let's say we cover the first week. So that particular end of the week, I'll give you one project. Then let's say we complete second week, then I'll give you a second or third project. So this is just to make sure you start writing your script yourself rather than just watching the instructor writing in the class. Okay, so this is where you will start developing the writing skills. And from the case studies, we touch all the case studies that we discussed in the first slide, the challenges, the traditional challenges that we discussed, all those are covered up. So if you just have some time after the class, you can just read from this point to point, okay, what exactly we will touch and what are the expected case studies. Also, I'm open for any new script introduction. If you need some if you want some requirement and you want me to discuss in the class, or you want my assistance on your production script building, you can also let me know, which I will also help you to do that. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay, and guys, just for another 5-10 minutes, I'll just show you one simple thing which you can take it as a practical. So I have one script with me. Okay, what I've done is I'm just using some fetch things now. I'm just trying to fetch show IP int brief. On which device I'm doing? This device are Cisco Sandbox devices. How many of you heard about Cisco Sandbox device?
I heard. I got on it.
Okay. So those who guys have not heard, again, guys, this is the Devnet syllabus. When the Devnet portion will be taken up, I'll show you these the sandbox labs. So we have some labs provided by Cisco, official Cisco itself, which are open to the public.
You need to reserve this?
You don't have to reserve anything. It's openly available.
If you are on reservation basis.
No, there is no reservation. It's a always on devices.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Is it like something like Cisco dCloud?
It's like a dCloud itself. Very similar concept of dCloud itself.
Okay.
Okay. So these are some XE devices. You need not to have any hardware or very high-end virtual servers, etc. You with very limited devices as well, you can start automation. But as you know, when you start with the enrollment process, we will have multi-device concepts. That means we will have multi-vendors. Because for someone, Cisco is not the only end. So we have ASA firewall, we have Arista, Juniper, Cisco routers, switches. We also have a lab where we installed Palo Alto, FortiGate, etc. So if you need any such instances, we will also give it. But you may not get that on the Cisco Sandbox. So for very beginner level who just want to just do a very basic first level of scripting, then you can take this IP. The credentials are given to you. Just install the ID that we discussed today about PyCharm. There is a NetMiko script just to take show IP in brief, and to execute, just right click, run this. So it is talking over on the SSH protocol. Okay, so you see that all the interface are fetched. So let's say you wanted to capture the output for show run. So you just need to replace with the right command, hit the play button, and it will make a SSH.
Generally, that is for API, right?
Nothing like that. If you have a device with you, you can do anything with that. SSH is available and API is available. You can test SSH, you can test API. It's all for you now. Okay, so you can.
Sir,
Yeah.
can you share me that website which you have shown just now?
Okay, see, I'll give you simple concept, simple this one to get into that. Go to Cisco Devnet login, and you need to just register yourself. Give your Gmail ID. That will also work. You don't need to be a corporate employee. Give your Gmail ID. Register yourself. You will get into the all networking devices. And within this device, there are some filters. Don't go with the reserved type. Go with always on. And these are some labs that's available. So I have picked up the XC device, this one. So once you open that, you will have the credential with that. And with that, you can do very minimum. Okay, I don't say that it's sufficient or something. Just level 1 of automation. If you have never done, this is something which you can do quickly as soon as after the class is done. But you need next level now. You will not be happy with just taking few command output. You want to automate via Excel regex. You want to do multi libraries, etc. Then you need to have your own lab. That is where we give our own lab server. So this lab server, you get it for 3 months. And if you have minimum 16 GB RAM on your machine, then we will help you to we will assist you to install it on your laptop as well. Okay, so this is something which I wanted to clear now, because as soon as I gave you this, you might think that you can become pro.
For each person, it should be one server for accessing the lab.
Yes, our server is on individual basis. Each person their own machine or their own access.
Sir, for the lab, we can access anytime within.
Yes,
the day.
it's a unlimited access. We don't have any time limit here. Unlimited access for 3 months.
Okay.
It's on tenant basis.
For 3 weeks or for 3 months?
3 months.
Okay, if you want to extend this lab, what will be the?
That you can talk to the backend team, and they will give you the pricing, monthly pricing or a quarterly pricing after the 3 months. Okay, but majority of the people by then just upgrade one RAM stick and take it on their home machine. But again, it's your choice. If you do not, then we have the subscription.
All topology will be sharing on that, or like?
Yes, you will get the automation topology on our remote lab.
Okay.
Yes, guys. So I am done from my side. We have 5-10 minutes for open discussion. You can let me know if you have any
One
questions.
from my side, Sagar.
Yeah.
So this is in 10 PM IST.
Yeah.
Is there any other session going on in the daytime in the IST?
There is one batch which is already going on, and I have completed a lot of stuffs there. 30% I have completed. It's a weekend morning batch. In case if you can take Netmiko from this time, and the rest if you can take that particular weekend, then you can decide about it. But apart from that, I'm not going to start any new batch at least now, because it's gonna be vacation time in few days, shutdown and all that thing. Okay.
Okay, continue.
Sagar, how much does the course cost?
You have to talk to the backend. I think my backend had given some details. You can write email or you can WhatsApp. So they will guide you with all the along with the discount offer. There's some discount going on, so they will guide you with.
Okay.
Sagar sir, I have a query because actually I need your help in writing automation scripts for AP Yeah, I have a DNAC. Okay, in our organization, what we are doing is we are migrating. Okay, as a part of migration, we have to provision all the APIs. Can we have a script or APIs for that or anything? So it
Yeah,
could
yeah.
be,
I will guide you with the API for DNAX. Okay.
yeah. I want for AP provisioning as well as WLC provisioning. That means we have to hierarchy map after mapping the hierarchy. I think.
Yeah, sure, sure. We'll guide you with that.
Sagar, one query that I have here. See, my immediate previous experience is all with F5s and NetScalers.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So do you think this would be a challenge for me when it comes to attending the course and going for the automation? Because I believe you'll be going mostly or majorly with the iOS devices.
See, actually, when you write a script, there is very less things that you need to modify from a vendor to another vendor. So let's say, for example, I have this script. This was written for Cisco iOS. If I have to write the same thing for a PAN OS, I just need to do two changes. One is I need to put the right device type. Second is the CLI command for that particular vendor. If I do these two things, the whole script is now
That's
replicable for
understood.
payload too.
That's understood. The reason being that when I said like I was doing some of my basic things on my own, I was also doing on the iOS devices also only. It's just that it's been long that I have to work very frequently with the iOS devices. So yeah, my reservation is like I might have to refer to other things to get the commands. So that's okay.
See, first of all, we touch multi-vendors. We will touch iOS, FI, Palo, the SDN controllers from Sandbox. So already there are so many vendors that we are gonna touch. Second thing is if iOS has some command, you don't have to recall or something. You just think it from the vendor that you are trying to automate. If you are trying to automate Zscaler, so what command would you need to automate that? So you think from that point of view.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So guys, any further question?
Hello, sir. I have one question regarding the lab. So,
Yes.
as you for the 3 months lab, so do we get a single topology or a different type of topologies?
You will get single topology, but multi-vendor devices and multiple devices. Okay, multi-devices and multi-vendor devices under single topology.
And if I have 16 GB of RAM on machine, I can have this lab set up on my own.
Yes, that's right. You can have it on your machine.
Okay.
Okay. So guys, let me put the agenda for tomorrow. So tomorrow we will go through the theory part. So if you guys have never been into the Python theory and want to have some homework done, you can just go and Google it for a few things like these things. However, I'll be taking it up with the examples. But if you still want to, you can go ahead, check it out. So we'll also discuss about the libraries like why Netmiko, why Nornia. Okay. We'll also have some discussion on the libraries tomorrow. Yes, so guys, this is what we will have it tomorrow. So any other doubts, any other questions from today's topic, or anything about the course before I wind up?
If we miss the class, then how will we get it the session?
Okay, so regarding that, we have our own guys, we have our own video portal. So as per the enrollment, you will get assigned to that particular thing. So let's say student assigned to this course or this batch, they have the lifetime access to these class recordings. Okay, so you can see there were 49 hours of live lectures that was being recorded and given them. So this will have a G Drive link where you will find all the DevNet notes, Python notes, API scripts, and rest of the things. And with regards to your regular classes, what we do is we take the class, and whatever script we discussed, we add it just below that. So let's say when the class 7 was conducted, we added its script just below that, so that student can watch and practice. It's like a centralized video portal. You can access it from anywhere, mobile or your office network, travel, wherever. It's just public facing. Okay, so you get assigned to this such video portal. So guys, are we good?
Yeah, I have a question. Well, hello, this is Silvia. I am from Colombia. So you said that the classes and the meetings are not recorded, or they are? Because sometimes it's difficult to me, and especially on Mondays. But I would like to take the course. I am available on Wednesdays. You said that the courses are 2 days a week, Mondays and Wednesday, right?
No. Course is Monday to Thursday.
Okay, so 4 days a week.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay, because I'm working only on Mondays, but I have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is available. But I need to know what is the schedule, the time.
Time is 10 p.m. India.
It looks like it's 11 a.m. 11 a.m. Colombia.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah. 11:30 for you.
Oh, okay. And it's only 1 hour, right?
Yeah, it's only 1 hour.
Okay. And that's perfect because it works for me. Okay. And how much it will be in dollars, US dollars? Because
you better need to check the backend team. So I'll just put up here. Take a quick screenshot of this. So these are the WhatsApp, and this is the email ID. So you can reach out and they will guide you with that.
Yeah, I can see the links also in the chat, but when I tried to get in, it sent me to WhatsApp, but when I said go to the chat, it said download chat, but I have already downloaded.
Okay, you can try email in that case. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, guys. So thanks joining. We'll catch up tomorrow, same time. And as we all know, this is the agenda for day 2. So thank you once again for joining today. Have a nice day. Take care.
Okay, one last question.
Thank you.
When in these classes will start?
We are just starting now. So today was demo 1. Tomorrow is demo 2, and then followed by that is the class 1, class 2. There is no break now.
Okay, understand. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Take care.